The government's been accused of failing to cover the care costs of traumatised child migrants. One council says it's facing an annual shortfall of well over £1 million. Well, the number of unaccompanied children here in the East Midlands is expected to more than double under a new scheme to resettle youngsters from Kent and from the Middle East.
Well, let's talk now to our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball, who can tell us more. Good evening, Jeremy. Who are these children?
Well, Quentin, these are kids as young as 10 who end up in foster care after travelling here alone. They're often from war zones, from Syria, from Afghanistan. They're very vulnerable. They can be very traumatised too. And our councils receive around £100 each day from the government to look after these children. In Leicestershire, though, they say that's not nearly enough.
These young people will be out of a situation where they've seen people blown up, bombed, where they've been without proper food and drink for months at a time, and they need help in order to readjust.
But the government is giving you about £100 a day for each of these children, isn't it?
That money is not adequate, and the reason it isn't enough is it doesn't take into account the cost of educational psychology, doesn't take into account the cost of social workers. To get very specialised foster parents, they should come up with the required amount of money so we can give the greatest amount of success to these young people.
So why are the councils raising this now?
Well, because the system's changing. Leicestershire currently looks after only 23 of these children, but it could end up with more than 90, and that's because the government wants to spread the burden around the country more evenly. And we can show you the current picture right across the East Midlands. There are roughly 280 unaccompanied children in care. As you can see, though, there are huge disparities, with a real hotspot down in Northamptonshire. Now, the new system is going to ease the pressure there, but it'll mean more child migrants across the rest of this region, and those numbers could reach 650 because of new arrivals from Syria.
Criticisms, as we've heard, of the government. Has there been any response from them?
Yes, on the numbers they say there's now a limit on the number of child migrants who councils have to care for. That's just 0.07% of the overall population of children. To put that figure into perspective, we're talking about less than 1 in 1,400. On funding, they say there's already been a substantial increase in the daily allowances. They've just gone up by up to 28%, still not enough to satisfy local councils, of course. And I think we can expect to see a lot more of these tussles because, of course, local authorities are also looking after resettled Syrian families. In fact, just today we've heard from Derbyshire County Council, who've announced plans to take 50 people under that scheme for the first time.
Jeremy, thanks for that.